Alrighty. Okay. So, welcome people, Human Services Committee. The date of the meeting is Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. The time is 5:30 p.m. and the place is the Selectmen's Conference Room. Hey Betty.
Howdy.
Committee member and Vice Chair Dr. Kimberly Crocker-Crowther.
Here.
And committee member Suzanne Walsh.
Present. Here.
And committee member Missy.
Here.
Do you want to be called Missy or Sherry?
Missy.
It is, I thought so. And Commissioner, and thank you, we're really glad to have you, Patrick Downing.
Okay.
I am also here. Special greetings, what? Oh, I'm sorry, and also committee member Wendy Crocker. Sorry, I was thinking I'm going to forget to acknowledge Betty. And also welcome to our town council liaison, Betty Ludke. Thank you for coming, as usual. Okay. Also, we did hear from committee member Kevin Matthews. Unfortunately, he has another engagement. He sends his apologies. He was unable to make it. Okay, so I'm just going to bounce around a little bit. Approval of the June 2025 meeting minutes. Let's get that out of the way. Which, Missy, you do a fantastic job as always. I didn't see anything.
I didn't either.
No?
You know what, I did have a question and,
Sure.
and I did send an email to Missy. My question was with regard to, there wasn't, and I think it was confusing because I did see that you put on this month's agenda about the election. But we had discussion of the election last month and I thought that was pertinent. It was like the last 10 minutes of our meeting, if you watch the video, which is kind of a nice option.
Which
And
I didn't watch the video, I just went off my notes. Yes, I read your comments, and I had prepared the minutes and then, oh yeah, okay, yeah, we discussed that. However, because, and I think I explained that, because I think there actually, somebody made a motion with reference to the election of officers. However, because that was not on the agenda for June, I don't know that it had to be it should be included in the minutes because we didn't have an agenda item, yet there was a motion put forward with reference to its discussion. If it's important, and I can edit the minutes to say there was a discussion, but I'm not going to go past there was a discussion because I don't think procedurally, because there was not an agenda item that, I'm not going to want to say bad things about you, but the motion would not have been appropriate because you can't, I don't believe you can make a motion on something that is not currently on the agenda. I would be more than happy to edit the minutes if it's important to you to put a line in there that with reference to the discussion.
Yeah.
However, so once after, thank you for reminding me, I went back and edited, revised the agenda for this evening to reflect procedurally where I think it should be, where there is a motion, a discussion.
I can check with legal, no problem.
Well, Cheryl, I do believe you said that you had checked with the town last time.
Yeah, I did. I checked with the
and
town.
that-
It was okay.
And that the election didn't have to be listed on the agenda.
But I think there's a fair question here. So I'm quite happy to verify that, and it's always a learning curve. So we'll get an answer to that.
But I think the election of officers it's significant, and I would be shocked if legal said, no, it doesn't need to be on your agenda because it's a real deal and it's in effect for a year.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we can do whatever you want, but we don't have to, excuse me, Kim, we don't have to approve these minutes, we can continue them, and I'd be more than happy to add a sentence in there that says, under the, what do you call it, other items not
Other items
necessarily
reasonably
anticipated, that there was a conversation or discussion, excuse me, with reference to the schedule for the election of officers. It was decided that it would be placed on the, July 29th agenda.
I did check with Cynthia Lovell beforehand, because I said I forgot to put it on. She said, well, if you can do it then if you want to. But Wendy stated an objection, so we said put it on to this one.
Well,
So that's all we
Missy
did.
brought up a point, and I think it would be helpful for us all to understand. There were two questions. There was the question of, does the election take place in June? Cheryl, you
verified that.
posed that question, or does it take place in July?
It usually takes place, most committees are in June. It can go to July. I'm told that there are some that rarely go to August, usually because something has happened. But I did check with that exact point, because I've been doing this for 9 years now, and it's always been June. And the reason for that is because the appointments end at the end on June 30th, and that's why everybody does them. But there have been exceptions, and that's why I called to verify what to do. But then you objected, and so we put it onto this one.
But I think,
But I think we should still check.
but to your point, I think that we were probably just remiss in not putting it on the June agenda, which may be based on the appointments thing.
Yeah.
That's why I called.
That appropriately where it should have lived.
Yes.
Okay, and you know what? For whatever reason, it didn't get onto the agenda. I think if we would have
That is quite possibly
Okay,
also my fault.
no, I don't know,
Yeah.
we all get, we're all kind of newbies at this to some degree, certainly I am. I will make a note in my head that, oh no, always every June, it's gotta be,
Right.
on
Yeah.
there,
Yeah,
but,
because I think we want to be aware, we don't want to violate open meeting law. And I think you're right, better to be safe than sorry and have it posted as an agenda item.
so, but with, I love to call it lessons learned. Okay, so lessons learned are, moving forward, mental note, it should always be added to the June agenda. And actually, if you look at the normal listing of agenda items, it doesn't really change. It's consistent from month to month. So, I'm probably guilty of, unless somebody, a ding, 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 a bell goes off, it's status quo, we're gonna do these. And then, all of a sudden, so wait a second, no, we have that, we need the addition of that particular item. So just moving forward, we'll do a better job.
I didn't catch it. You do a great job. I didn't catch it either. And that's why I called Cynthia Lovell and I said, first time I've done this, but I forgot to mention to Missy that we should have that on the thing. And I said, I know we can amend agendas up to like 5 minutes before a meeting. They have to be posted at a certain 48 hours ahead of time. Any applications, although we don't get applications, have to be in 2 weeks. There are time frames. However, when I recognized it, and I thought, I'm going to call Cynthia because she usually has the answers. And she said, yeah, you can put on matters not reasonably anticipated. But then you seemed upset, and that's okay. So we put it onto this one. I called her and I said, look.
I wasn't upset, I was,
It's important to be-
Missy brought up a really good point, and it seemed very surprising that in the last few minutes to have an election without having a chance to have conversation about it, and I didn't see it on the agenda. And I thought that Missy brought up a great point, and well, isn't it posted as a separate item? And I think, Cheryl, your response was that you had checked with someone in the town and that it didn't have to be put on the agenda or that it could be listed.
That's why when you objected, we put it on to today.
So
Would you prefer that I amend the minutes, it's two sentences, okay? In the other items not reasonably anticipated to say that we, the committee did have a conversation, a discussion with reference to the election of officers for, you know,
I'd like to keep it squeaky clean, I'll check with legal.
Well, I think the nature of the
Yeah,
issue is
because I
what,
think you had a good question.
that was more of an unofficial, informal conversation, whereas an agenda item is more in
no,
Robert's rules
but I
formal.
can, but she makes a good point
No,
where,
she does.
yeah,
Yes.
where it did take place under the other items not reasonably
So you should
anticipated.
memorialize it.
And with that said, that may be the appropriate place for it to live on the June meeting
Correct.
That's a good
minutes.
point.
And that will
Um,
memorialize it
Yeah,
on the June.
memorializing that the discussion did take place and we, as a committee, agreed to, because we're kind of out of time, right?
Yes.
That a more appropriate time to allow us to have a real discussion would be on this meeting, this agenda.
I will double check with legal, but I'm fine with that.
No, but
Yeah,
I'll do that, and
So
we're
can I,
just
and this is gonna be silly, so what is the final answer? Is it supposed to, what
That's
are the
what I'm gonna find
guidelines
out.
that we're supposed to follow? Should it be posted on the
It
agenda?
doesn't, it's
as
good
a
to have it,
specific
it's good to
item?
have it posted, but it doesn't have to be, was what I was told. It can go under matters not reasonably anticipated.
Is that what
but-
legal told you that it?
That's what Cynthia Lovell told me, she generally is the go-to person. So that's why I checked, because I said I didn't catch it, and she said, well, you can put it on there. I said, okay.
But as,
Yeah.
okay, let me just be a real devil's advocate here. As a discussion or as like the real deal, where you know, you're reelected or whatever. So to me, that sounds a little vague. Yeah, it can be under the other
can be.
items,
It
but
can be.
I'm not hearing that not only can it fall under that category, but it can also be acted on.
It can be acted on.
It can be acted
Yes, it can definitely. according to
Because-
I
Robert's.
don't agree with that.
I
Okay,
think.
because technically your term is
And-
expired, so
Yes,
you,
that's right.
in order for her to run a meeting, we have to have an election.
But as I said, there have been some that have gone over, that I was also
Right.
told. So,
So should
and
we have
actually, there
made
is an answer to
should we
that.
have made a motion to continue the election for today?
No, I did ask that question years ago, it came up with another one. I'm trying to think of what the actual answer was. But there was a person who with no names mentioned, I don't wanna beat this to death either.
Yeah, we need to move on.
Yeah, we need to get going. But the thing is, yes, if something happens, then there's a term, and I can't think of the term, they stay on until it comes up. So
They get an extension,
it's
and
a
I
type
would,
of extension, that's
I
not the
would
word
look at it
for
like this, okay, we didn't have the election, okay? So it's an automatic extension granted, a temporary
I've got the word.
extension.
It is a sitting officer. That was what it was.
A sitting
I knew it was
officer
somewhere
what?
in those cobwebs. It is a sitting committee member or commissioner.
Well-
They are sitting.
Okay,
That's what the term.
has the ability to remain seated
As,
until such time that the election can take place?
yes,
Okay, there you go, I can live with that,
that
but
is
that,
a
yeah,
sitting.
yeah, okay.
I knew I'd ask that question with another.
Well,
thing
that
came
makes
up.
sense to me, but the, just, the
Yeah.
whole.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
It's a sitting commissioner, a sitting committee member. Okay,
Okay,
so
so
we're
do
going
we,
to
hold on,
continue
hold on.
this.
Do we, is it your request, I'm sorry,
Okay, sorry.
is it your request for me to amend the minutes with that verbiage?
Yes.
Okay, no problem.
Everybody okay with that?
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
And I'll put per Wendy, just saying.
Okay, there's no real updates on membership my knowledge, there's nobody for the appointments committee for this committee at this stage. I'm going to go straight to information gathering. I've handed out people this is the Tauntons, Charlene Bonifant. This was her human services agreement that she has with that town. I have also a meeting tomorrow with Mashpee and a meeting with Falmouth.
So, I'm sorry, Cheryl, did you say you have a meeting with Mashpee?
Yes,
I thought the last meeting we had, I was coordinating with Mashpee.
I thought it was found that you were doing.
I already
thought it
did
was
Falmouth.
Falmouth.
I already did Falmouth.
yeah, I thought it was
Kevin and
Falmouth. I thought it was
no,
Falmouth.
Kevin and I had,
Well, I did talk with her anyway, Gail Wilson.
yeah.
She did say she'd been contacted by you and had set a time, but you didn't show up. So that's what she said.
That's not true.
Okay.
And if you'd like to see the email, we had scheduled a time. I was gonna go in person, Kevin was gonna join us, teleconferencing, and then she canceled it the morning of.
She didn't tell me
And then
anything.
she rescheduled it, until August, it was the end of her fiscal year, so toward like mid-August.
Well, we
and
also,
so-
we're under an obligation to the appointments committee and the committee on committees we gave our word that we'll
Yes,
get this
but
by September.
and I understand that, but I don't know where the confusion is because that's what we had discussed at the meeting. That I was supposed to be going to Mashpee and coordinating
I'll
that.
have, well, I'm not gonna mess it about with her now, she's got it for tomorrow.
But
that
this
just-
is the second time something like this has happened.
Not to mine, well, it is, but not where there was a confusion on this. I think what we had left it is that we were going to contact the various entities, human services, and try to get copies of the agreements, and that's what we're doing. So if I can get those so that we can get on this, because we have a lot of work to do.
I understand that, but we duplicated each other's efforts, and when that seems strange to me.
Have you done Falmouth Beach as a site from before, which was about a year ago? Have you done it recently?
Yes, I discussed that
Yeah.
in the
You did.
late
Okay,
spring meeting.
good. Late spring, okay.
And I also discussed that when we had the appointment
Okay.
with, about the
I'm
committees.
gonna keep the meeting with her because I don't wanna mess her about. Apologies to you if there's misunderstanding, but I asked if she had been contacted. So I'm gonna leave that with that. But can you please tell me the information you got, because I'm very interested to hear it.
What information?
You didn't have any more information, okay.
About what?
About the contracts, we're gonna try to get copies of the job description for human services.
No, we had set up a meeting that the morning of she had to reschedule. So we
I
had
wasn't a part of that conversation with you, I don't know. But,
You know what, though, I recall that there was some delegation of duties,
Yes.
and you and Kevin had stuck your hand up in the air
Yep.
and said you would take responsibility
Yeah.
for meeting with Mashpee. That part I do remember.
I just remember the Falmouth part.
No, but she had
But
already
it's
met
in
with Falmouth.
it's in the video.
yeah, we have to check this,
Okay,
yeah,
so
we don't wanna
we can
beat
do
this
that,
to death.
At the end of the day, we're all supposed to work as a team.
Exactly.
We're going after the same goal, so in my opinion, I don't think it matters who sees. If it's that big of a deal, I feel like that can be taken up after, but we can, move along to what we're supposed to be doing.
We're
However,
running out of time, is why.
If something's been delegated to, whether it's you, Patrick, or Wendy, or Kim, or whatever, and they're marching forward, then that's their goal, to handle that. So it's not, they're again, working as a team, we need to be communicating.
If you would like to come over and be on that call with me, I'm very happy with that, because you may well have some questions that I wouldn't think of. But I do think we're running out of time.
We are.
We have to get this stuff done.
We need to leave time to write.
Yes.
Well, excuse me, when she wanted to meet with you in August,
Yes, I believe it was the 15th. She
Okay, so it was
rescheduled to,
sometime-
and I needed to check with Kev. Like,
oh,
Kevin and I were trying to coordinate our schedules so I could be in person and he could be there by Zoom.
You're very welcome to join me on it. But the thing is, if we wait till the middle of August,
That's too late.
that's too late to write it.
But how did that happen that,
I
I'm
think-
sorry, I don't know what this woman's name is?
It's
Gail
Gail.
Wilson?
Okay, Gail rescheduled you, but then is slating you, which is fine, that's totally up to her, but I think that there again, in all fairness to the pair of you, I think it sends the wrong message.
It was
does.
confusing, I believe it was
Yeah.
confusing to her when I heard from her.
I wasn't a part of that, so I don't know. I just called and she said that she had heard from somebody, and I said, "Who'd you hear from?" And she said, "From you," and then it didn't happen. And I said, "Well, in that case, I'll fill that in. Do you have time? Because time is of the essence." And we set a time for tomorrow. You are very welcome to join me on that.
I'm working tomorrow.
Okay. If you have questions you would like for me to ask, I would be very interested in those.
I think I'm all set.
Okay. All right, so. Now, we had the information from Falmouth before, but nothing has changed or updated on that. So we'll just get the updates. What I had done is I put Kevin's stuff together. Does everyone have this Town of Human Services Committee report and proposal? Yep. This is not definite by any means. It's just I took what Kevin had and I took what I had and I started to put it together so that we have the ball rolling. I would like everyone to please read through this. I'm sure there's typos in there as well, but everybody's input I would certainly welcome on this. Patrick, I've already asked you about housing. That's why I have you. Oh, no, you are actually in it, but it's on my home computer one. These were printed before. I have usually put questions at the end, and the questions I haven't tackled yet are at the one on the computer with regard to the housing that I mentioned to you. Like I said, this isn't what's going. I'd like it to be put together by everybody. And we also need to incorporate some of the things that we've collected. So for instance, Charlene Bonifant for Taunton, look at some of the things that she has and that they require so that we can get, we might want to incorporate some of that. And I can't remember, Missy, was it you, I think, made a suggestion, which I thought was really clever, that we try to put together a proposed agreement? Was it somebody said something?
I don't know, I said you should craft a job description
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
uniquely specific or much more specific
Yes.
for the town of Barnstable. So these are the positions, this Director of Human Services, so we would need to go up online to find salaries, is that correct?
She's going to send me that. She said, I sent you this thing. She said if you had any other questions of her to put them together tonight and to forward them, and then she'll send the salary basis.
What's
along.
Charlene's last name?
I want to spell it for you.
Oh, thank you.
Bonen
Bonen
Fant.
FA.
She was very helpful.
Okay.
It's right there.
Oh, it's in the
She's-
agreement, sorry.
She's been doing this for 5 years.
Okay. Go Taunton.
Yeah, they're Taunton.
You're born and raised, I'm just saying.
Oh, you're born and raised in Taunton?
I am.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what is interesting though. She said she's been doing it for 5 years, so they must have upped her contract. This is the renewed contract, that's why. 13th of March 2025. She did mention something about that. So that's really just information for people. And if you do have any other questions you want me to ask her, salaries, of course, if there's any others, I'll add it.
Well, you know what, I can just go up online and look at it, so it's all right.
Okay.
They're all public information.
We do not have a guest speaker. Don't have any other reports. I'll have much more to report after that. Given to the town council. Well, the report to be given to the town council is really going to be kind of an extension of this when we complete it. Alrighty.
Did you want to add annual report? Because
That's a good idea.
in that way,
I like that. How do people feel about that? Because it really should be an annual. I just know we have the report.
well, that way it doesn't look like supposed to be giving one a month, you
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
if you specify
Everybody okay with that?
annual.
Yes.
Wendy, you all right with that?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yep.
Okay. So we'll do that. Okay, well, we don't really have any people to ask questions of. Betty, is there anything that you have to say?
The only thing would be that what I'd mentioned to you in our last town council meeting, in the town manager's update,
Mhm.
they said they were looking at hiring a contractor to work some of the further opioid
Yes.
settlement. And I thought that would be an excellent opportunity for you to dovetail your description in that to provide value to the town so that perhaps they wouldn't have to hire a contractor and it could be dovetailed with this position.
I think that's an excellent idea. How do people feel about that?
Because so much of that opioid settlement, at least the entities that I've seen have been awarded, have been sitting in this room talking to you, and you seem to have a good understanding of those, so.
Who has the current oversight of that?
A committee, I guess you'd call it.
Oh, there's minutes.
Okay, but there's no, but do they
Run by
set?
Andy Clyburn, Andy Clyburn, Cheryl was
Right,
part of it,
right.
but
Yes.
it's a committee.
Okay,
Yes.
so they're looking to hire a subcontractor to serve in the
Yes,
role
and they
as like
specifically
liaison or
mentioned a
something?
desire for someone who could work on grants, which seemed to be the expertise you were.
Yes. We
I
actually
mean,
have
look
two
at the
people who
town
write
manager's
grants.
report associated with the most recent town council meeting, you can see that.
Actually, we have two people who write grants on this committee. I see you're one of them. And Kim, you're one of them. So, yeah, that's excellent. And you had mentioned that to me before. Thank you. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is
Or you could watch the beginning of the meeting. It was a discussion that I had with Assistant Town Manager Andy Clyburn. It was right up front in the meeting, so you wouldn't have to watch much of the meeting to see the discussion,
To follow along
to
with,
get a little bit of insight into it.
but also to see if there's like a potential timeline as it relates to that?
We didn't get into the
commitment?
details of a
Okay.
timeline, but I'm just saying, it seems to me to dovetail perfectly to what
I think
the
it
skill
would.
sets that you are looking at. And it would be an immediate way to show value added to the town if you brought that capability forward in the position that you're putting together.
I think that's an excellent idea. People like that idea? Wendy? Like that idea? I see nodding heads. Suzanne?
What's the date on that meeting? The last one?
It was,
Whatever the last one was, July 18th, something like that?
yeah, I don't think it was last Thursday. I think it was the Thursday before then.
And you could certainly reach out to Andy Clyburn. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no harm in that. He seems to have his finger on the pulse of that program, so.
You seem to say, he said some good things, so. I'll have to call him and thank him. All right, we've really gone over reports as such and roles. Election of officers, we're going to amend those minutes. Thank you, Missy.
No, it's not
I know, it's, yeah, but thank you. Suzanne, I apologize to you because last time you made a motion and it didn't go forward, so.
It can go forward? So can we go
You
forward?
have to make another motion,
Okay,
but because we didn't carry it, so
all right.
if anyone's going to.
Well, I make a motion that we just continue with the leaders that we have and vote them all in at one time.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Can we separate them out? Would you feel comfortable with that, I mean,
Sure.
is everyone okay with that?
Sure, that's my preference.
Yes, everybody's all right with that? Okay, Suzanne?
Yes, perfect.
Would you mind amending your motion? Probably start with chair and then we'll go to vice chair and then we'll go to clerk.
Okay, I amend my motion, I amend my motion to start with chair, to go to vice chair, and then to councilman.
I do have a procedural question.
Sure.
If we have a committee member absent, like Kevin is tonight, does he have the opportunity to cast a vote also?
He's not here.
Okay, I
And
thought
he
so, I
knows
just
the
wanna make sure I was
background
available.
agenda.
You have to be here to win.
I was just making
That's
sure.
what
Well,
the way I always think about
happens,
it.
what often happens, Kim, if nobody wants any of the positions, the people that aren't there
Get
get
them.
into
Take
the
it,
positions.
get it.
There you
I'm
go.
just making sure.
So could we have a motion to wait till Kevin is here to have an opportunity
Then we have to
go?
make a motion that Patrick doesn't make it, it was on the agenda,
But we
it should-
could conceivably.
I think we're losing time.
I think we're losing time too,
I don't
we
know,
have
for
work to
one
do.
person, we have the bulk.
And it's everybody, there's always a chance Missy could be in California.
I just wanted to make sure procedurally that we
Yeah.
were still okay.
I
I would-
think because we have quorum,
You
it
have
would be
quorum.
Because we have quorum,
difficult to
Yeah.
make that argument that we could delay it to the next meeting, because the next meeting is
Could be somebody else.
is in August, and it just, to your point, where everything turns out June 30th, then it just prolongs it, and actually, I don't know that it's, at this point, it's,
I don't think it
It's
is either, I think that because who's gonna miss next time, are we gonna have quorum, it could go on forever.
Right, it could go on forever.
So, Suzanne, I'm gonna ask you to, since you said the chair and that, so if you wanna start with any motion, since you said with the same officers, can I interpret that you're nominating me for chair, is that what you're
Oh,
saying?
absolutely.
Because I'm gonna do each one individually.
Okay,
Is there a second from anybody?
I'll second it.
You know what, can we have some discussion?
I was just gonna say something, so that's part of the discussion, I think.
okay, go for it.
When we've been at these meetings, I find it comforting that when there is a question, you know the answer.
Oh,
Because
I don't always.
because I'm new, I watch the other meetings. In any other meeting you're into, I find that the people fold and ask you for the correct procedure.
Okay.
That anybody in the room, if they have a question, turns to you,
Oh.
which I think is important
And I
in this
don't always
position.
know the answer, but I know
But
who
you
to
know
go
a
to.
lot more
I know
of them
who to
than
go to.
anybody else does, and it happens every time I watch one of the other shows.
Well, you are very good at doing your due diligence to find the answer if it needs to be found.
I do find the
Yes.
answer, I don't always have it off the top of my head, but I do try,
Yes.
and it's been a learning curve. Patrick, did you have anything you wanted to say? Missy, did you have anything you wanted to say?
With reference to you?
Yeah.
No, I'm okay. How about you, Wendy?
You know what, I'd like to ask, since I've been here for a year now, what do you think you're bringing to the committee and where do you think it needs to go and how are you gonna get it there?
One of the things we have to do with, as a procedure, we have to get this report done. That is a priority, because we gave our word to the appointments committee and the committee on committees that we would get that in at September time. So that is our first priority. And then our second priority, also to the town council. Our other priority is to the community, our major priority to the community, and to try to implement whatever is done. If we don't know what they're gonna do, let's say they hire a human services director, I hope they do, but we don't tell them what to do. We are an advisory committee, and that's it, we're not regulatory. So we, do you know the difference between advisory and regulatory?
Yes.
You do, excellent, does anyone not know? Nope, okay, so we'll fulfill those obligations, and then let's say they have a human services director, in which case we would throw our support behind that, because we have now a great committee. We have Kim with all of her medical experience, we have you with your therapy experience, we have Patrick with the outstanding job that he's done with outreach and with the homelessness and the housing. I'm really hoping that the town will look at you for helping with the housing and the homeless, but that's why I want to, we'll put that paragraph in there. Missy, we have you, because you're the voice of reason, and you tend to be level-headed, and you write grants, and you have
And
a
I do the
huge-
minutes, come on, do.
You do the minute, you do a great job, and also, you have 40 years of municipal experience.
Well, more than I
She's
want to
only
remember.
29, how could
That's
she have
right.
40 years?
That's right.
There you go.
Suzanne, all your great stuff,
Which
you know,
is
so
unknown.
So what we would do is put it
Well, I
behind
think
whatever is
you-
decided by the town, because we don't make that decision. And so things are a little fluid after the September, because we have to wait till they make a decision and then feel how we can throw all of our resources behind them,
Well, I
and
think-
whatever they decide.
The other thing that's happened since you became chairwoman is we took a very fractionated committee and made it cohesive with people who actually
Show up, yeah.
understands the process. So for the first year or so, we were really out in left field because we had.
First year and a half.
Was really, I
Yeah.
think it was a year and a half. So our work was really kind of behind the 8 ball. So, I mean, you've done a really nice job getting the right people on the committee. So
We
that's
had
good.
we had at least 3 meetings where it was just you and I.
You and I,
at
I know.
first group. And we had to, poor Cynthia Lovell, who was always threw in with the Zoom, that was back in the
Yes.
COVID times. You know, we felt bad because, sorry, we can't have a meeting, so we were just open, close.
It was
And
very quick. Yeah.
it was very quick. I think our record is about 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
But you showed up too.
We always showed up.
Yes.
I missed one. Kim, I think you've missed
I
one.
think I've missed 1 or 2
Yeah,
since we were
yeah.
appointed. Yeah.
But Kim, because Kim was chosen, and wisely so, to be the medical director for Bay Cove about a year ago. Is that right? When was it? So she would often attend our meetings by phone. In fact, usually for the last good portion of the time. And sometimes, Missy, you and she are side by side on the table in your seats when you're in California, but you show up and you contribute, and that is great. You know, and you're on time, and Patrick's our newest member. I'm really looking forward to all this great stuff he's gonna do. We have a fantastic town council liaison. Suzanne, you do a great job. I mean, your dedication with the going out to elder services and that to try to work on the database and the senior center and the police and the fire, that's all, and the notes that you keep, that's all very welcome. But it's putting all that together and all that hard work together, because we now have people who are here, we have people with the expertise and the experience, and to put that behind the town itself and the town council, or through town council, or whoever it is that they, whatever decision they make, we will adjust to. And then that will be,
Now, can I bring up something with regard to communication, Cheryl? Because I think it's something, and looking ahead to leadership for the upcoming year, that I think is really important. Since our last meeting, I think you've called me at least a dozen times with different concerns about various things. And one thing that I think would be really important on this committee is that there's open communication. That there isn't, I'm gonna call Kim and see if she wants to be vice chair, or Kevin and what his intention is, or calling me to ask me my intention. I think the conversations to build group cohesion should happen here.
they can do, but, and I don't mind that. But it is common for the chairs to call around and to say, hey, look, you know, can I twist your arm and get you to do something? Or not do something, to take a position. Or,
Yeah.
hey, so-and-so's not going to, you know, is gonna be leaving, they're moving out of town.
Well,
We need
you know what,
somebody to
but I
fill that
think with
position.
that, there is a risk of viewing that as consensus building.
I don't mind having the conversation here, that's fine with me.
But with the phone calls to different people,
I was
I just.
calling you about something else that was of concern to me.
Your first call, you were asking me about my intention for the election.
But the first call was because you had expressed an interest. I called and I said, hey, look, are you interested in it? You know, I would be interested to know. I didn't want to embarrass you. So, you know, no cornering people. That can be viewed in different ways.
Well, shouldn't that be general knowledge? If somebody is interested in a position, they give us an inkling that
They
they
don't
want?
always,
They
they
don't?
don't
Not
always,
always,
no,
but-
Just
no.
bring
But
up
they
the night
should
of the
have
election?
but they,
Yeah.
if there is an interest, it goes both ways. Not everybody wants to play their hand, if you will, okay? And some people want to, but if you never give someone the opportunity
Yeah.
to be vocal about, absolutely not, I think that I could consider that, then what's
Yeah.
truly fair? And I think Wendy's, if we're trying to present ourselves in a cohesive manner, we all need to be comfortable enough with each other to say, you know what? I would be interested in that without
Yeah.
anybody else being offended or whatever. I would say, good for you. You want to be clerk? Absolutely. But I mean, I think it's important to give in the spirit of open communication. I think that
I would
it needs to be something, and she's right, I think that it really is significant as it contributes to the, let's do it for the team, all that kind of stuff, and
I do, I think it largely contributes to our cohesion and moving forward and setting goals, and I think there's been a lot of misunderstandings and confusion. And I think it's important that we're able to have open discussions and work through it here.
Right.
if you don't, really, it erodes
It
what
does,
you're
right.
trying to
Correct.
Yeah.
to accomplish. And everyone that sits in this room has a different area of expertise, and it's very important for all of us to respect each other's areas of expertise and say, you should do that. That's or you should do that, and have everybody feel like, if that's your area of expertise, well, you know what, shout it out and say, you know what, I'll take that on, whether it's like contacting Mashpee or Falmouth, or with Patrick, his homeless help
Outreach.
and all that kind of stuff. You know what? He's the subject matter expert as far as
That's
I'm
right.
considered. Everybody is a subject matter expert. And I think I would encourage everyone to shout it out, whatever they're
Yes.
good with, and throw your hat in the ring
I agree.
and go for
I
it.
do too, I think.
But you often find some people are shy and don't want to do it. Sometimes people get, it's people, I agree with you totally, but.
If you're comfortable, there aren't that many of us in here, okay? I mean, if you're in an arena with 100 people, you might not leap up and down and go. But I mean, it's a small group, and I think we've been together long enough that we should, I would hope, feel comfortable enough with being able to say, you know what, I would like to try that. I'm hoping that I'll be good at it, but I would like you to consider giving me the opportunity. Not that I want to be chair or anything, but I mean, I just think it's important for people to have that level of comfort to be
And I
able to do
think we should
that.
support each other too.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Nothing has to be just a surprise. We should know everybody's intent when we come in the room. If we're talking about running for office, if we're talking about a report, whatever, we should know each other enough that we have a general idea what that person is thinking.
But when she brings up the election of officers and goes around the room, I think it's important for, whether it's Patrick, me, whatever, say, you know what, I've served in the capacity as clerk, okay, yeah, I'm good with it. I would consider moving forward. Okay, if somebody doesn't think I'm good at it, I don't care. But I mean, I think it's important for Patrick or whoever to, or Suzanne, to
No, and I
say that.
appreciate that. That's why, going back to the notes, the minutes from last time, it really did surprise me. And as I stated in our phone call, Cheryl, I was surprised that all of a sudden there was an election, because I had it in my notes that last year we had voted in July, and it was the last few minutes. So it did surprise me, and it didn't, and Missy, you picked up on it, and it didn't feel like it's the spirit of what we're now talking about, open, honest communication, and that, that we do
That's
have
why we
time
continued
to
it.
communicate with one another. And, it's an important decision, it's serious. I think honestly, the Human Service Committee seems to be in peril. And I think that we really need some strength in moving forward, if we're going to move
And
forward.
that's why I called. But oftentimes, there's a committee I serve on that doesn't have a clerk. That's the hardest one to fill. And we haven't had a clerk now for like 7-8 months. We had a time when we didn't have a clerk either. That is just what it was. But, okay, has everyone had an opportunity?
I'd just like to address what you said. I think of all the time, this is probably one of the most important times to not be in lockstep, because
I
this
agree.
committee is in a precarious position moving forward. All the last 12 months or 24 months, whatever, this is the absolute most, in my opinion, the most precarious position not to appear to all be marching forward together.
Yep.
So with reference to your taking the time to chat about the need to have serious open communication.
And it's nice to have
It's
Kim
valuable.
here. This is the
Yeah.
first time I've seen you in person, and I have questions about that too, and I wonder if we can have honest dialogue about that. That was one of your calls with me that you had brought up, Cheryl, because I think all being in the same room, I think it was very difficult at times. You know, sometimes we'd ask a question and then you wouldn't be on the other end, or we didn't see you on a screen. So
They don't have that facility for on the screen here.
We don't
Only-
have that, we used to.
We
So,
used to,
so
yeah.
moving forward, would you plan to be in person for our meetings?
Well, as Cheryl articulated, I switched rules, and so now I'm at Bay Cove. So on Tuesdays, I was seeing patients until later, and that was clashing with, so I would typically jump on the call right away so that I could be here, rather than having to come over and be late, which I don't like to do, especially on video. So I am trying to make adjustments so that I can do that, because I do think it's more productive in person.
I
agree.
don't think you were ever more than 2 minutes late.
And
On
with
the
the COVID
phone,
laws too, Massachusetts made it so that
Yeah.
you can have meetings that are done by phone
Correct.
by law.
Except though, you're then dependent, and you know, when I'm in California, I'm hoping that my phone is good, but when
Yes, you're
when-
dependent on the,
when you and I are
You're
side
both right
by
there.
side, okay, if I'm saying something, I may not be able to hear you, but so then I'm speaking over you, or vice
It's
versa.
certainly
It's-
richer and more expedient in
yeah,
person, for
it's-
sure.
It's not,
We
That
had
is
similar
productive.
issues trying to have guest speakers on Zoom.
Yeah,
This
that
is
was
certainly
hard.
preferable to
It
any
is
of
definitely
those
preferable. We've
modalities.
had some good ones. To address the video, because it'll come up later on public comment, the video, as everybody, I think most people know, but just to clarify, we had Zoom when it was during COVID. And then when they started preferring for people to come back into town hall, we agreed that, I think we were like third or fourth one that did that.
You were on Zoom for a very long
Yeah,
time.
and so we then asked for the video, and we asked for about a year and a half.
Yes.
And then last spring, I had a meeting with Town Councilor Lucky, you attended that, Andy Clyburn, Mark Ells, remember that? And myself, because I wanted to plead our case, look, we need to be on video, if for nothing else, so that we're accountable. And that's, I can't remember the exact date, but it's easily verifiable.
I think
It wasn't
like,
too,
it wasn't really that long ago.
No,
Yeah,
that's what I was just
it was-
gonna say.
it was-
Yeah,
it
it
was
was the
April,
spring.
May, yeah. So we are now on
But we
camera.
still don't have
A staff person.
consistency with agendas and minutes on there.
Oh, you know what, you're right, though, even though I send them,
They don't
It's
always
It's
get
not
posted.
posted, it's
But-
not,
it's weird, and I actually made a comment to Cynthia
Yeah.
Lavelle. If I go to the town of Barnstable and click on boards and commissions, everything, they have the alphabetical order, I click on, human services, And it might say audio, but there's no agenda. And I know that there,
You
we
sent the
did an
agenda.
agenda,
Yeah.
but so I asked about it, and she tells me that there's a link for some other website with the town that has the master, is it the master
Oh,
calendar?
I know where it is.
Or something with everything, and it's like,
Where that is, I can clarify that.
but that's honestly, that's a pain in the rear end.
It
When
is,
you
yeah.
go,
It is a pain in
when
the
you
rear
go
end.
to the town of Barnstable and you click on whether it's historic or town council, whatever, they're all listed right there. So in my mind, in a lot of the other committees, historic, whatever, golf, you see the video,
You see it all,
agenda,
yes.
Yeah.
minutes.
Right.
And then ours is kind of like willy-nilly, so
Yeah.
you're right, and I'm
You
like,
are right.
I'm
I've
sure,
argued that right, left, and center.
I'm sure, I know it went, but
I know you did.
it is,
But maybe
Confusing.
maybe that could be a goal in the year to come, that it's consistently posted in there.
but I think
agree.
we had that discussion, and we actually made this much headway with, because there were probably 3 months where the minutes were not posted.
Yeah.
Though I know I sent them,
Yeah.
and we had that discussion, and she followed up on it, and all of a sudden, they appeared, and then
I
it
made
stopped.
I made some phone calls, I have to make them again.
Yeah, all I see is the agenda, no minutes.
Where you find it is when you go onto the town calendar, it should be on the calendar in the spot where we have our meeting. But it is also, if you go to the top where it says, for these things that were sent to the town clerk, click here. Here is in blue, you click there and then it brings them all up. But it's an extra step, but
And it's
I
very-
agree.
It's
I
very
agree.
confusing
Still
because
cumbersome, yeah.
when-
It's on the hit list, but you don't get everything all at once. If you push too hard, you don't get anything, so you have to
in my
choose.
opinion, that the first town website, if everybody else is there, we don't need to be the exception to the rule.
Correct.
Yeah.
We should be just like everyone else.
Yeah.
In no matter what you're looking for.
Well, that's your code.
It's-
yeah.
I agree.
In my little logical and practical mind, I go, well, if everybody else is there, how come we're not there?
Mhm.
And I think that that's a flaw.
It's not, we're not the only ones. There are a number of them that don't.
We're in,
Consistently not there.
yeah, we're more frequently not there
Yeah.
than what I think is
That's why,
appropriate.
that's why I've asked for a staff person. We've got the video person, next thing is a staff person. But I think what we have to do is show our worth first. That's the important thing, because you can't just ask if you haven't shown the worth, so we have to do the work. And I think everybody agrees on that. So, anyway. Do we want to, you've already asked your question, Wendy, do you have any other questions?
I don't, for you?
Patrick? Missy?
Well, of course. So procedurally, you're going to go with it.
I'm going to take each one out separately
Okay.
with your permission on your motion.
Absolutely.
Are you okay on that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that has been amended, so we'll do the chair, then we'll do the vice chair and nominations, and then we'll do the clerk and nominations. I personally, I'll say it front, you do such a spectacular job on those minutes, and you're very precise.
As Wendy will say.
Kim, did you second that motion?
Just kidding.
I did.
I believe I did, yes.
You did. Okay, so it's seconded.
But, there again, I think it's important to ask people if they wish to continue in that capacity. If you don't, it's an assumption that's not,
You speak up and you say, I don't want the position
okay, but I
anymore."
think procedurally you have
Okay.
to say, I would encourage you to say, we're considering
I think
nominating
we
you
should.
to be the
Okay,
clerk,
I'm
and
fine with
you're
that.
interested in continuing in that capacity.
Okay. Somebody else, even though I'm sharing, I have to ask somebody else to ask that question. You made the motion.
So you want me to ask you?
Yeah.
Are you still interested in holding the position you're in?
At least for another year. There are possibilities of moving later, but right now, yes, I would be happy to. It's an honor.
Now, do I stop with you, or do I ask everybody at the table?
Well, go ahead and ask, so.
I think we take a vote. Oh,
We take a
we
vote.
don't
Are we
take a
doing
vote on
one
this
position at a
motion?
It's just
time?
one position at a
So
time.
just for
Kim?
the,
Yes, I think
Chairperson.
we have to vote first, don't we?
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
So you're a yes, Suzanne?
yes.
Missy?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
And Wendy?
No.
Okay, and I'll say yes, so that carries. And thank you very much. So people who are interested, oh, you made the motion to take them separately. So you made a motion for Kim.
Yes.
Yeah, is there a second on Kim?
She didn't ask
Are
me
you
if I was
going-
interested.
Oh, if you're interested, you're right, I'm
Can
sorry.
before we hold this, does that mean you're going to be present for every meeting? And when
That's a fair
Cheryl's
question.
not here, will you be the chair?
That is,
Since you are the vice chair, you'll physically be in this.
well, I don't know that
Let me
anyone can
clarify.
guarantee that they won't have an emergency or have an
Yeah.
issue where they can't be present. But I will do my very best to be here, and Cheryl and I have always had an agreement that if she
Yes.
can't be present, that I
She
will
would
run the
have it
meeting.
in her
However, that
meeting.
has
She was
actually never happened.
Well,
Yeah.
it's happened twice recently, that's why I bring it up.
Did
Cheryl
I
was,
miss it?
well, you were away when we would typically have our meeting.
But that meeting was deferred. That
And then
That's-
there was
that-
another
that's the
meeting you
point,
mentioned that Kim wasn't
Yeah.
able
We had to
attend.
defer it because she wasn't gonna be here, I believe is Wendy's point.
But the thing is, I would have deferred what I was doing, so,
Well,
you
no,
know.
your daughter's
Oh,
wedding.
oh, that one, okay, right.
Well, also,
Okay, so, but you would have been here, so.
You didn't
Let's-
ask me if
let's-
I would
let-
run
no,
it, because you
because
just
I knew I could-
deferred it, yes.
So, Kim and I have always had an agreement, and that is that, correct me if I'm wrong, if I can't make it, I give her as much notice as I can, and she will move heaven and earth to be here. Because I understood that with the new position that she took, it was trying to revamp Bay Cove is a huge task. And we didn't want to lose her, and she is here on the phone, and I'm the one who went to Cynthia Level to verify that that procedure was acceptable. Can we do that? Is it, because I, you know, I'm anal about breaking open meeting law because it gets us in trouble. Excuse me. So no, you can't. And everybody makes mistakes, but
But we're human, I mean,
yeah,
of course.
but the, so, you know, that was the procedure, and I thought, well, give her time to get herself settled there. And in all fairness, you became chair, I believe, vice chair, I believe, when before you took the Bay Cove
That's right.
position, yeah.
And
Yeah.
to answer your question, I too think that, we agreed that we would do this committee together. And I would very much like to continue to serve also for,
Everybody here's got.
but I also, I would very much like to serve for at least another year also. But I recognize that there are others that should have the opportunity and have a skill set that's maybe different than ours, but could bring something to the chairship that's equally valuable, if not more valuable. So I'm okay with that.
And, you know, it's a learning curve,
option
I
as
had to do it, everybody has to do it, you
Yeah,
learn
exactly.
open meeting law and the procedure.
Yes.
We had one chair of a committee years and years and years ago, about 9-10 years ago, who was actually an alternate, which you can't do, and they were voting. You cannot do it, it's illegal.
We can't do that.
So the town attorney's office had to go through like 8 or 9 months. So that's 2 meetings with that one per month. 8 or 9 months of all the tapes, video of all the votes were legal or not. That was quite an ordeal, but anyway,
We were putting the very seminal pieces of this project together, and I'd like to see it through with you and with all of you. We also were participating in the opioid conversations
That's right.
too. So, I do think we got waylaid time-wise, and certainly COVID did not
we have a
help our
lot of work to do,
project.
yeah.
But I think
Well-
I agree, this is a very pivotal time for the committee, and we have some really important writing to finish.
We do, that's just a first
Yeah, there's just a
idea, it's an
draft, I know.
idea. Because I wanted to get it started.
Yes.
None of the original members are on this committee now. I wish them all the best, and we're trying to identify people who, how long did I have to twist your arm, Bill?
Well, we were there.
She's twisted
But
around.
I think that brings up another important point when trying to recruit for this particular committee. And I think it is important that we're not handpicking, Cheryl.
Well, we're not handpicking, we're trying to find people who are going to put together, they're gonna show up on time, they're going to come to the meetings, they're going to put whatever area they have, to help. But
But there is some aspect of needing people who have a skill set that
Exactly.
lends itself to this particular kind of work, because you have to have a base
good
understanding
point.
of what human services do on a day-to-day basis.
So for instance, people on the golf committee, no disrespect to the golf committee, there probably wouldn't be any interested at all in
Correct.
the human services.
And I would
And
probably not be good on the golf.
And I wouldn't either. So it is good to get people who, hey, how with you? You said you wanted to get involved in the town and, you want to put some of your background to help, and what are the chances of getting on? And what was my response? It was, this is how you do it. You apply, this is the procedure, and, see what happens with the appointments committee. What you have to realize is that I don't choose the people for this committee.
Right.
The appointments committee
But,
chooses them. Yeah.
with that said, I would, if I could, if they would ask my opinion, which I'm sure they wouldn't, I would scold them a little bit, and that
Who? The appointments committee?
appointments committee, because I think, to your point, where, you need people with certain skill sets to sit on, committees where they can be productive. I don't think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think the appointments committee takes the time, because maybe they don't have the time, I'm not being critical in that regard,
Or to
to actually look at someone's resume and say, you're a pro golfer, so you should go to the golf committee
Yeah.
and not go to the human services. And
Good point.
I question that next layer. And I think what happens frequently, and I sat through a couple of them where somebody was put on like the licensing
And it's
committee
like
and they
a
had
mess.
absolutely
Happens all the time.
no interest whatsoever. But I think it would be advantageous for any committee. Probably even more so for this one because of the skill set that you
And that's
really
why
need.
I think part of our internal responsibility, and I understand what you're saying about seemingly handpicked, I would probably use a different phrase, like
Yeah.
recognizing potential. And
Yes.
so someone like Patrick, who we identify is young and has different networking skills and has an ability to understand an arena that I don't fully understand, he's the perfect match for this committee.
He's-
So recognizing potential
Yeah.
is part of, I think, our good citizenhood,
Excellent.
I
point.
think too,
Yeah.
you're presuming there's hundreds of people that come up and volunteer to
Well,
be on
that's
these
also
There
committees.
is.
true.
And that's
There's
not the case. If they get 8 or 10 in 10 months, that's a lot.
But
So they don't have this overwhelming amount of people to choose from.
But when you have 8 or 10, if they are placed on a committee where they have no interest and they stuck their hand up in the air and said, I want to volunteer, but they're put on a committee that it's just not in their
They usually don't
arena,
stay.
then what happens? They say, okay, thank you, and then they don't show up.
They
Another
drop off
example.
or
They drop
or you
off
lose
and you're-
time because.
And you're right, you're not
Yeah.
making any progress, so I think that, to your point, that's a disconnect, that's truly a disadvantage, not only for really a lot for this committee, but for a lot of other committees, so I'm not quite sure how you'd like to address that.
Well, I'm not on the appointments committee.
Right.
And I do agree, I wish we'd get more of our residents interested.
Mhm.
We tend to reappoint people because we didn't get anybody interested.
Oh,
which I
yeah,
think
it's a
is sad.
problem, it's a problem, I get it.
But you also need to have some who have been on for some time because they teach the others. It was a vertical learning, well, it wasn't a vertical learning curve because I had been regent on other things, and I chaired other things, but municipal open meeting law was totally different, and I had to learn it. And that was a bit of it was probably a couple years before I got it down. But anyway, let's, are we,
I had a different experience when I went before the committee, and I thought they had excellent questions.
Mhm.
They were well prepared and they referenced my,
I was at that meeting.
I'm not saying it, I'm just saying, I'm speaking in generalities, okay? I'm not saying like when I went to my interview or you went to your interview, they had my resume, and they asked very pointed questions and I appreciated all that, but I just overall question because of probably the lack of people that volunteer, that they have a position that needs to be filled, and they'll say, you want to give it a go? And somebody goes, yeah, okay, and then they go, this is horrible, and they never show up.
That is a good point. And actually, I'm gonna apologize to you because even I said I was at that committee, it was a couple of years now. I can't remember if I know I saw it, but because I remember it, but whether I saw it on video, I think I was here, but I did watch it. And they did have very good questions.
Well, they were very nice when I was there too. It's just
I
the
was
slim
there for you,
pickings.
yeah.
You know, if you need to fill a position and you have 10 people that come forward, you're not gonna wait till the 15th person comes in because they've got golf clubs. You know?
Okay, let's stop picking on the golf club.
Yeah, I just kind of remember it.
Okay, so, sorry I brought it up.
What is it, the
Was there a
19th hole,
second,
18th hole?
there was a proposal for you, was it seconded?
I would like to ask, is there anyone else in this room that's interested in considering being the vice chair? Not that I have anything against you,
Completely
okay?
understand.
But do you, in all fairness to everyone,
Mhm.
I've already got picked. Patrick, do
We
you have
haven't
any?
been picked, you have to be voted on.
Okay, well, whatever, yes, procedurally.
But you got my vote.
Yeah, so Patrick, do you have any interest? Do you have any interest in
No
being
interest.
considered? Do you have any interest in being considered?
Well, and also, if we still have to do the vote, if it doesn't carry, we have to come up with somebody else. Or
Okay.
not fill the position.
Well, that's
But
his answer.
that would lead to the discussion.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
So,
do you have any interest in being considered?
I will not be affected
No.
either. You're fine.
No. You know, if you didn't want it or something, that would be something else. But I'm very happy with the level of
I
work that people do.
I thought you were, because you're the one who made the motion. That's why I thought that, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but you want this position, correct?
Yes. I'd like to see this through because
I'd like to learn a little more.
We've
Okay,
been more, we were
I
really,
think it would be really important for you to be here,
your point is well taken.
No, but you're saying physically here.
Yes.
physically,
Yeah.
physically.
Okay, and I'll be honest, that's a concern of mine, only because, you know what, you're wearing a really big pair of shoes right now. And you've got this many hands, and you have a full-time position, and I fully, it's not like me that's retired, or Suzanne's retired, which we have so much more flexibility. And I think it would be a huge void not to have you on this committee in some capacity. But-
Also, you had mentioned the idea of having, I think you called it a medical liaison to the committee, which I do
which
think
in a
that,
sense you already are, but yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
But if that's a preferable role, I'd like to serve in some way. A title is not as vitally important to me as serving. So I'm also happy to, if that is procedurally a role that you may be able to create, I'm okay with that.
Well,
I'd just like to be able to still vote, and I don't know if that would work, and I'd like to be
It
able
would.
to still
you're
write
still
and
a member.
participate.
But
you're
we got-
still on it.
yeah,
You're just
still
not
on it.
shackled
You
with
really
the-
think we're gonna let you go?
No, but I
It relieves you of the obligation to have to
I really
show up.
want what's best for the committee going forward, and I want it to smoothly produce this document that we've been trying so hard to give birth to for the last few years. And however that lays out and however that works, I just want it to be as seamless as it can.
You and I are probably the only two that have enough history with this committee to
Yes.
realize just how big those hurdles were.
Yes, very.
But,
So that's why I'm not married to a title, because I know what it took to get us to even be here. especially
And we had
surviving
quite
the
COVID,
committee through the
yeah.
pandemic
Yeah.
and having guest speakers was very hard to do.
Yeah, but we got all right. Anyway, we have a motion on the table. We have, when your hand went up, it was to ask a question.
Yes, it was to ask.
Do we have a second?
What is the motion?
The motion that Suzanne made was for the vice chair, she nominated Kim. I will second that motion. So start at this end of the table and then come back, Suzanne?
We're voting now?
Yes.
The usual procedure, first and a second.
It is
vote.
confusing, yes, we're voting.
I really have to teach you guys open.
Well, there's hesitation in between each
I know, it
sentence,
gets
so I'm
in-
going,
Yeah,
We're voting,
when
yes.
you're in,
yes,
Yes.
for some,
you have my vote.
Thank you.
okay. Missy,
No, I support you being the medical, whatever that title is. I think that is like the perfect role for you with your background and your current workload. I think that's you.
And I respect your opinion. Like I said, it's.
Okay. that's fine. Everybody's vote is their vote.
Yep.
I respect, yays and nays.
Yes.
Patrick,
I vote yes.
yes. Kim,
Well, she can't vote for
I
herself.
can't vote for myself.
yes, she can.
No, yeah.
No,
No?
no.
No, yeah.
Yes,
I
she
don't
can.
think so.
You have a vote.
Yes, but you didn't vote for yourself.
I did, but then it already had the numbers. But with us and all the other committees, they vote. Vote for yourself. You can
That
vote for
doesn't
yourself.
seem right that you get to vote for yourself.
You even get to vote in a presidential election for yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Every other committee I've been on, everybody votes, who is eligible to vote, unless you're an alternate and the regular members are still there. Betty, am I wrong on that?
You can vote for yourself, absolutely.
Exactly, right. Kim?
Oh my.
Oh, what?
I didn't think you.
Oh, sorry, I skipped Wendy, I'm sorry.
No.
Okay, Kim?
Yes.
Okay. I am gonna say yes. I might have hesitated if you didn't have things have changed now at work, if you still weren't able to come, but I know that when you say you're gonna make every effort, I know that you will do that because you're a person of your word. So I will vote yes. That does carry. With 4. It was 4-2. Can I get you to be clerk still?
No,
You're not interested?
no,
Oh,
Oh,
I don't think so.
I'll do my Shirley Temple impersonation.
Oh.
You're so good at it, though. You want me to run?
As
No.
clerk?
No.
would you? If
No.
Missy won't, I prefer, I know just,
No. You do. I couldn't fill your shoes. Who could fill your shoes?
Size 6.
Oh, see, I'm a 7.
There we go.
I'm too big for the job already.
No, that's right. That's fine, I'll stay on,
You will?
like everyone else for a year.
Okay.
Thank you.
So have we made a
We
motion?
need, no, that, no, we haven't.
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I'll
Kim,
make a motion that Missy stay as clerk of the committee.
is there a second? I will second it.
So now you vote. You
Third.
vote. No, you vote.
Oh, I vote.
Yes.
Third side is
Shirley.
Absolutely.
She wants
You
the
want
Shirley Temple.
See my
thing.
curls bounce?
Missy?
Yes.
Okay, Patrick?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
I also say yes. You're the only one that got unanimous.
We're giving you a pay raise too.
Yeah,
10% more than you were getting this
I
year.
get 3 candies.
You get as
There you
many
go.
candies as you.
All right, that done. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for participating. Okay, other items not reasonably anticipated by the chair.
I think you
Arnhem,
forgot public comment.
We know we're going to do that. I'm bouncing around a bit. So we have 2 more things. One is public comment and the next is adjournment. Is there anyone for public comment?
Sure, I am.
And if we can limit that to 3 minutes. Public
What?
comment is usually limited to 3 minutes.
I'm
All
the
the
only, I'm the
committees-
only one here.
And what's his last name?
That would be
Your last name,
Lawrence
please?
Patrick Moran, is that right? Is that M-O-R-I-N?
Larry Moore,
Larry,
Would you spell your last name for me?
Morin.
Thank you.
I don't know quite where to begin, but I'm gonna focus on 2 or 3 points. Number one, when you have 3 people and there's a clerk, the clerk is the one that calls the roll. The clerk is the one that counts the votes, not the chair. It's consistent that way, that's why a clerk is there, okay? So, also, so the idea that the chair is controlling the votes and not getting other people a chance to be nominated is never done. It's always, whenever somebody is nominated, then you turn around and say, is there any other nominations? That was never mentioned at all. So that's something, it was only 6 of you, but that's the formality you go through. The other matter that's of concern to me is the fact that first of all, I've studied every set of minutes and watched every video since 2022. And in the process, each time there's a reference to a report being given to town council. Where is that report? I don't know where it is. It's not my job to know where it is. But
Patrick has one in his hand right now,
I'm
what we're putting
talking,
together.
I'm talking on my 3 minutes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't need your interruption.
Okay, let's
Easy for
be civil.
All right, so the report is supposed to be a measure of what has been forecast, what has been the goal, and what has been accomplished. I'm not aware that any such goal or any such report has ever existed. The format for the agenda has been pretty much the same every single time you conduct a meeting. The agenda usually is structured to identify some specific things that are incidents that you picked up from prior times you've had meetings. So I suggest you start really looking at the content of the agenda and have it prepared in consultation with all the members on the committee. Don't just have 1 or 2 people do it. And then you'll have a good agenda, so when you come in, you're prepared. The concept of public comment is exactly what is done in every committee and town council included. And it's that people express their views and opinions, and that's what I'm doing. It's not done to criticize, it's done to correct and construct and perhaps help. And I think Betty can say that I've done that a lot. But that being the case, those are my concerns for now, and I'm gonna be interested to see how you do. Thank you.
Thank you, under 2 minutes, thank you. Mr. Moran, sir, can you tell me, are you an attorney?
What?
Are you an attorney?
Not anymore. I retired, I resigned.
Let's ask a question.
Yes.
May I ask, what is your interest in this particular committee? Is it more procedural, or is it something about this particular committee that interests you?
I found, Kim, just this morning, my notes from 3 or 4 years ago. I started looking at committees to see how different committees, I was on conservation for 18 years. We had our own flaws, our own difficulties. But I wanted to see how other committees were functioning.
I see.
So I didn't do it at random, but I did it to see the different structures of committee. And then I actually found that I took a lot of notes as to what was done. I didn't have a chance to study them today. But this is just one of maybe a dozen different committees that I've attended. So, and that's what I keep doing now.
And what is your goal by doing that? Is it to help the procedural process?
It's to help the appointments process, it's to help putting the committee on committees, things together, giving them ideas and input. It had a lot to do with my input on town council rules, that sort of thing. It's to get what's going on in the town. I think there's in excess of 40 committees involved. That's a lot of committees. Some of them are sailing along smoothly, some of them are struggling, but more of them, there's also some are advisory and some are regulatory. It's a big difference.
Yes.
And so I think that that's something that has to be recognized. This is an advisory committee. So, but that being the case, it's nothing diminishing what you do. It just means you're not tied to a regulation.
Well,
I'm sorry,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Mr. Moore, when you were an attorney, when you resigned, were you an attorney in good standing? When you, before you resigned, were you an attorney in good standing?
You're asking something that's really none of your business.
Well, it does pertain to something else. Do you want to ask your question? I'm going to go on to something else.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to do, and it's really none of your business. It's
have a
absolutely
question,
none of your business.
I was just going to state that I thought what we were trying to do here was get together the process to make this committee a workable committee.
I agree.
The committee was floundering for a few years, there was no one there, COVID hit, this was kind of a castaway committee, as a lot of committees were with what was happening in the area. So I think that's what we're all trying to find our position and to get our feet wet and to get a protocol that we can follow to get this to a level that would make us a good committee. But there's a lot of nothing in the background. So it's like building on sand.
What do you mean by in the background?
There was nothing for so long. People not showing up for meetings. We weren't being recorded. We were like a negative. So in order to get us to be a positive, we have to go over what was happening. We have to kind of find our footing and try and find a correct way to make a difference, not step on anybody's toes, be kind and considerate to other people, take our position literally but with some love and affection and just forge ahead. We're all trying to help people here. We're all trying to do a good thing. We just all
Well,
have a different way of showing.
Let me tell you something that came up, and Betty is the perfect witness for this, is that in discussions that we've had, there's a void within the town of lack of training. I don't say that that's something that can be met instantaneously, but I know when I was on conservation, I taught myself. There were about six other guys and they didn't care. So you're trying to teach yourself. I don't know what sources of teaching you're getting, but I could list a lot of things that I've seen that have gone wrong. I've chosen not to do that today. I'm trying to just focus on what the role of a clerk is. So in that particular sense, it might be in your best interest if you're struggling and want a big picture, try to find other people to come in and help you with that. And will I be the one to do it? I'd be glad to help, but more importantly, and it really has nothing to do with whether I was an attorney or not. It has to do with the fact that I've been through this mill extensively and I've studied it. I'm in the process now of trying to update the administrative code, which is chapter 241. That is in dire need of correction.
Under whose direction? Under who's appointed you to do the administrative code?
Nobody's appointed me. I didn't have to be appointed. I'm volunteering to do it. Nobody's told me to shut up and go away. If they do, I do. I'm working with the different town councilors on the different ad hoc committees. If you've got a problem with me, we can talk about it outside. And I'll tell you something, I don't like the question you're asking. You're trying to personalize something that you know nothing about.
Well, I believe that one thing committees really need, as Suzanne, as you were alluding to, is hope. And I think your approach feels a little bit not hopeful and a little chastising, and we really are trying to find our footing.
Okay.
And while I appreciate your input, I find it just a little bit off-putting, and I think it's taking us away from what we're really trying to do. We're not perfect at open meeting law, and I stand by that we should be corrected if we aren't. And if we need to do some group learning about that,
Yeah.
I mean, Robert's rule and municipal law are different, and you know, he's right, an advisory committee is different than a regulatory committee. Perhaps we need to have one extra meeting where we discuss procedures. Procedures are different
agree.
than content.
But the
And
thing
they're
is,
different than
Hold on.
motion, than
I would just like to
things.
say, I do not appreciate you as the only other male in this room saying to a woman that we can speak outside about this.
I'm sorry, what?
About you speaking to a woman and telling her we can speak outside about this, I don't appreciate
Yes.
that. And that is not, this is not the time or place for that.
let me go on with what I was going to say.
Well, you know,
On-
but-
on- this is
but
important.
I think it's also important that we can be respectful of all different opinions.
I
And
agree.
Cheryl, you came on the things that you said weren't appropriate either. But if we're meeting in the spirit
What are you
What was
talking about?
that?
Yeah, what was that?
about questioning someone about their background and profession, and what was your intention behind that? So I do think it's important to take the temperature
to-
down.
It
This committee needs a lot of help and a lot of hope.
goes
it
to its
really
credibility. On the 24th of June, you appeared before the Appointments Committee, and you stated that you've gone through all the minutes. You pretty much said the same thing here, so it's consistent. You've been through all the minutes and go through all the committee meetings, and you were talking about Kim. You thought that they should kind of put a hold on that at that time, on her reappointment, that she hadn't appeared in over half of the meetings. That's why I explained earlier that the phones, if you had been here, you would have seen that we were doing that and wondering why the table was
You need to
talking.
speak up a little more clearly, please, I can't hear you.
Let me go over that again. You appeared before the,
You can talk louder.
so on the 24th, you appeared before the Appointments Committee and you spoke about Kim and can you hear me now?
Yep.
And
I can hear you.
suggested that they hold on to her application for reappointment, that you have gone through all the minutes and go to every committee meeting, and you stated that she had not appeared in indicate she had not appeared in over half of them. That's why I clarified for you earlier that she was here. You might have wondered why the table was talking. Sometimes Missy is here, but if you're over there, they are definitely included, and we're asking them questions. We weren't talking to in a way we were talking to the table. But you also said with the minutes that she was included on the minutes. She was included in the minutes to clarify for you because she was here with the approval of going through Cynthia Lovell, who she said, yes, we can do it that way, and other committees do. And therefore, so it was with their approval, and you said in all likelihood, it was the chair has put her name on the minutes, because she wanted to get to a quorum. I would never do such a thing, because in a way that's accusing me of misconduct or intentionally falsifying the minutes, which I would never ever do to clarify that. I have never failed to give accurate accountability on things. I would have eagerly have answered your questions had you shown me the courtesy of asking me if there was something that was funny about it, had I noticed. But you didn't actually offer me that courtesy. You went into a public forum and you made that accusation that the likelihood that the chair has put her name on these because she wanted to get a quorum. That was 2 minutes, 27 seconds in. I would never involve myself in improper and unethical behavior or a staggering misuse of any position that I hold, because I value my reputation. I value the reputation of this Appointments Committee and the reputation of everybody here. You did say there was a committee member that had mentioned that to you. I don't know who that is. But when you say that, what I want to point out to you is that we approve the minutes. Sometimes we have to continue them, which we're going to do on this. But we approve the minutes. In a way, it's like it's accusing every member of this committee of having done this because they would have known if Kim was here or not, because they knew that she was here and she was participating. They have no problem with minutes. That's why her comments are in the minutes. Now, there have been a couple times we got disconnected. I'm assuming it's because I think you were in your car or something and you got into where it's no longer reception. But I don't know who that committee member was. I don't even know if there is a committee member that told you those things. But and I'm not going to ask. But
You mean appointments, one of the members of the appointments?
sorry, of this committee had told you that about the minute putting them on in order to
Nobody
establish a
told me
quorum.
that. Nobody-
Oh, good. Thank you for clarifying that.
Nobody told me that.
Okay.
But
So-
Cheryl, this is what we need to talk about. You called me 8 times within 3 hours, and I felt like it was an interrogation.
I don't think
Ask
I'll
me-
check that.
You know what? You can check that
I will
because I
check it.
took screenshots of it. But you had a conversation with me, and I'm sorry, it was about, had I talked about Kim
I
with
did ask everybody.
Larry Moore, and you know what? I was so confused You told me to watch the video. I watched the video. I was so confused. And then you called me a week later and you went through the same thing.
I've only been back 2 weeks, how could I call you that many times?
But
if I was a
you
week
called me
later?
before you went away, and then you called me. That is a problem with this committee.
It didn't happen before I went away,
It did.
Yeah.
It happened Monday night.
but 24th.
I
Yeah,
took
it
notes.
was, it's the 24th.
I took notes.
So, back to what I was saying, I wanted to clarify that for you. And so, this committee, they approve the minutes, they read the minutes, or at least I'm assuming everybody reads the minutes. And so Kim was here, and I did not appreciate being accused of doing that for quorum, because just for the record, I would never have done that.
Would you like me to respond?
Yeah, let's move on.
No, let's go on.
Wish you a good
I
evening.
don't appreciate subterfuge and we're past the point now.
We're
I think
past.
we need to.
So, in that case, I don't think there's any more for the matters not reasonably anticipated. Mr. Moore, we do value your coming to the meetings. I didn't want you to think that we don't. Your presence is always welcome, but if you have a question in the future, can you please just ask? Okay, so, all right, motion to adjourn. That was Patrick. That's your first motion, seconded by Kim. We are adjourned.
7:00.
Rachel, we're done.
I'm sorry, what?
Thank you for your help tonight.
What's going on?